Alright guys, this is the motor off the chipper shredder that I'm working on now. And when I got this, I think the local small engine shop in town had a chance to try to fix it. They'd popped off this valve cover, they'd taken off all the carburetor, the exhaust, you know, it was just all torn apart. The whole unit was stripped down, all the bolts in a bag in a box, and it was just a mess. And it would turn over about one in almost a full and then a little more rotation, and then it just locked solid and you couldn't spin it. And you know, I started tearing it apart and marking out parts to sell online, you know, good parts like the pull rope and the carburetor and stuff, because I thought it had a broken crank or a connecting rod or something like that. Anyway, when I was in the process, I tore the head off of it, and I was kind of surprised at what I found. Now inside of course I've cleaned it up a little bit, it wasn't as clean when I got it, but inside the cylinder I found a head of a screw, a very small Torx head screw. It must have fallen in through the carburetor, or through the spark plug hole. As you can see, it dented the piston. Right there. And it dented the head a little right there. I'll rotate the motor over a little bit. I don't know if that's going to show up online, but there's some scoring in the cylinder. But you know what? I'm going to try to slap it back together and just run it. I haven't found any other metal shavings in it, and you know, it might run, it might not, but you know, if it does run, I'll put a new gasket in it, head gasket, and just, you know, it's probably going to smoke a little bit, but I'll just run it and use it. I've seen these motors online used on like eBay and stuff going for like $65, or I could always buy a short block or something. I don't think it'd be worth putting a piston in it just because of how scored the cylinder is. I don't think it would hone out. Well, it might hone out, but I just don't really want to go through that much trouble on it. I'll show you guys the rest of the motor. Here's the push rods and the parts of the valves, and you know, you can see that everything's in really nice shape, and even the muffler, it's not very rusty. So this thing didn't have much use on it. I would say it's a 2004, so you know, and it was definitely stored in the garage. But see, I got everything was in a box like this, just all thrown in. So I've been sorting out my bolts. I'm missing a couple, but again, no big deal. Here's the unit. I've got it loosely assembled. All this stuff was off. All these shrouds were in a million pieces. Actually, when I picked it up, I had all this part, and they didn't put this back shroud. I got the chutes, but they didn't have this back shroud, and I went back a couple days later, and they put this out, so I got that too. But yeah, like I said, guys, I mean, I had been, you know, I've been labeling everything. See, I put the part numbers and all that stuff on everything. I was gonna part this thing out because I thought the motor was junk, but now after playing with it, I think it might definitely be fixable. So that's it, and I'll you know, I've been working on some chainsaws and just all kinds of stuff, but I'll get back to you guys with more info as I put it together. I'm going to try to slap it together and try to test run it tomorrow, maybe on just some you know, just a shot of ether or something, just to see if it'll actually even fire. If it'll fire, then I'll put a head gasket in it, potentially a rear seal, because I think that might be a little screwed up. If I do the rear seal, I can look at the crank while I have that open. But do that, and hopefully put it all back together, and then I'll have a video of the entire unit running and hopefully chipping some stuff. If I can't get it to fire, then I'm just going to end up, you know, either selling it as a whole as a project that needs a motor, or I'll part it out online there. So anyway, this is, I believe these are called the Intech, the new Briggs & Stratton overhead valve motors. They look very, very similar to the Hondas and the Chinese clone motors. You know, I had actually thought about putting a clone motor on it, but if I can get this one to run, you know, that'd be even less money into the project. So, alright guys, that's it.